What's going on, y'all? After my last video, I got some requests to do the motor changeout bag that I kind of teased in the service bag video. I think MechTech69 had mentioned something about it in the comments, so figured I'd pull everything out of there and kind of show you what I use. First and foremost, the bag is, it's just a canvas Harbor Freight special here, 16-inch. That way my aluminum shaft can fit in there, believe it or not. Inside of it I got, just some scrap pieces of sandpaper, hardware cloth stuff right here, whatever you want to call it, extra screws of different sizes, these little crown nuts, whatever you want to call those, these little set screws with square ends that come in everything, because if you do it in the neighbor's grass next to the condenser, and if you, every once in a while you're going to drop that sucker in the grass, and sometimes you don't feel like going back to the truck and get the magnetic pickup tool. Some of these guys right here, some extras, just in case you lose one. Good set of gloves, usually put those right on top. They're just the thin Max Flex gloves. They keep you from getting cut up on your squirrel cage, your little blower wheel and fan blades a little bit. Not any kind of big deal. Always make sure you stay hydrated, have you a cold drink nearby. That's good. Alright, let's go for the stuff you really don't want to use, but it's good to have. This is a puller. Can't even tell what brand it is, doesn't really matter. They have them all different supply houses. Works good. Crescent wrench, crank on it, and most of the time it'll pull it off there if you got a stuck one. Even better is if you use your Nipex pliers wrenches on there, because they bite down on that and bite down on that when you're really cranking it, and you're fighting that sucker. Man, those pliers wrenches, the first time I ever used them after buying them was on this guy right here. Man, it made it so much easier. I was so happy I bought those things. Would have been a pain in the butt with just some plain old crescent wrenches. The other one is the knockout tool. I know a lot of guys have done videos on them. Steve Lab and some of the other guys who y'all know them. All the regular suspects out there on YouTube's HVAC community. It's got that badass pin in there, and that sucker actually, you hook it on there, it goes through in place of the set screw right here. You put either a fine tooth or a coarse thread in place of that set screw, and man, that sucker gets on there. I've had some really bad ones when we're just scrapping units, beat the hell out of that thing, and man, it was one of those ones you like to never get out of there. It got it out, so that thing's awesome. It's Creative Products of Southwest Florida LLC. Creative Products, Google it. They make this and like that mag knob to go on your acetylene bottle. I bought both of those, and it was worth the money if it saves you a headache, the way I see it. And if y'all can hear my neighbor's dog barking, that's Molly. She never shuts the hell up. She's deaf, but still loves to bark. Lived here for 8 years, and she barks at me every day when I get home. Alright, so paint marker, man, we changed the motor out, put the date on there, any other pertinent information. Nut drivers, 3/8, 7/16 and half. A lot of the blower motors you need 7/16 or half to get the motors off. A little tape measure, just cheap Harbor Freight. Get that measurement right there from the top of your mount, or the top of your motor, to where that hub actually goes to. That way you can get your fan the right spacing away from the grill and get the best airflow. If it's the factory motor, you get it where the factory put it. Otherwise, you may be putting it back where the last jackass that changed it out put it in the wrong spot. But I generally just put it back the same place it was, and better than guessing, get good airflow. Alright, and here's the thing that can help you keep from having to use that guy and that guy. Got that Aero Coil, Kano Laboratories. That's the stuff you can only get at supply houses, and only one locally sells this stuff, so I always get 2 cans when I go. But man, that beats the hell out of WD-40. little bit better than PB Blaster even, that Aero Coil. Good stuff. With that, and your Nipex pliers, baby, you can get most of those fan motors off pretty easily. Just wiggle them off after you spray them and get a little sandpaper. Good to go. If not, if they want to fight a little more, that's why I got aluminum shaft. Let the end of that mushroom out and not the end of your motor. This is like I said, it's about a 16-inch one. This will do. I do, man, mostly residential guys. So I mean, this kit, keep in mind, this isn't for you heavy industrial or chiller guys or whatever else. That's a whole nother ball game. Brass hammer, Nupla. It's been good, not too beat up or anything. I think even Harbor Freight has an inexpensive brass hammer if you need to get one. But man, if you don't have one, get one, because sometimes you just need to use this end. It's more beat up from there, from, you know, getting that last little knock out of it. Service wrench, and then if it service wrench doesn't fit on that set screw, it's too chewed up, I got the channel lock nut buster plier. Can't tell if it has the number on it, but I think it's called the nut buster or battery terminal plier, something like that. But basically it goes in straight rather than kind of at an angle or from the side, so you can get down to those set screws if they're too chewed up and rusty to get the square end on there. You know, there you go. And just a 5/16, just a Stanley little punch. Sometimes you need that to get that last little bit, hit that hubs all the way to the top. Of course, 11/32. They have to have those oddball size screws on your condenser fan motors for whatever reason, but that's what we got to use. So got one of those in there. Like I said, the Nipex, can't recommend Nipex stuff enough, man. Look how thin that is. You can get right in there. And this is one of those ones that's a bad example. That sucker's real close to the motor. You can get in there, wiggle that part. After you've thrown your sandpaper and a little spray on there, it'll just wiggle loose. Most of the time, not too rusty. I'm down here on the coast, so they're usually pretty rusty. Offset wrenches, double box ends. That's more for like blower motors. You can get in there on those belly bands. I carry everything from 9/16 to down to quarter, just to get whatever I may need. And I actually have one in case you got some kind of a weird neighbor kid got a new dirt bike. Good for him. This actually has 11/32 on one end and 5/16 on another. Just in case, you know. It's actually a snap-on. Got off of eBay for practically nothing, so that's pretty cool. What else? T-handle, a little ratcheting guy, and 2 Allens that fit the screws for that right there. Those will pretty much get at any weird angle on a blower, fan motor. You know, may have an obstruction. Man, pretty much that's it, guys. Can't think of anything else. Yeah. Dogs are gonna start barking, ruin the rest of the video, but that's it, man. Pretty much all of that'll fit in that bag. Nothing fancy, no Vito bag, just old Harbor Freight, but it gets the job done. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know if I am carrying something I don't need, or there's something I need to have in there that y'all use that could help me do it a lot easier. I'm always open to more tips and tricks, anything that help you from cussing and having a bad day. So like I said, like and subscribe, and tell me what y'all carry around. Y'all have a good one.